The chocolate factory produces chocolates of which 80% are pink. Each box of chocolates contains exactly 30 pieces. Identify the probability distribution of X, the number of pink chocolates in a single box, and also give the mean and standard deviation. We've got a fixed number of trials, constant probability of success, so this is a binomial. X is going to follow a binomial with 30 trials, that's the number of chocolates in the box, and a probability of 0.8. The expectation of X is then just NP, so 30 times 0.8, which is 24. The variance of X is N times P times 1 minus P, so it's going to be the 24 times 0.2, giving us 4.8. And then the standard deviation of X would be the square root of 4.8, which is approximately 2.191. Determine the probability to 3 decimal places that there are at least 27 chocolates in a randomly selected box. So, the probability of X being greater than or equal to 27, that is just going to be a binomial CDF on your calculator going from 27 to 30 with 30 trials, so 0.1227. Quality control collects samples of sizes of 20 boxes and counts the number of pink chocolates in total. Determine a 95% confidence interval for the proportion of pink chocolates in a sample of 20 boxes, using the assumption that 80% of chocolates in the sample are pink. So, we've got Z95. We can get that value from the calculator, 1.95996. Then we can form our confidence interval, 0.8, take away 1.95996 times the square root of 0.8 times 0.2 over 600, and the same with the plus. We don't have to calculate that. We can do confidence interval for a proportion as an E activity on the calculator. We looked at this in an earlier question, so we are just going to go to menu, E activity, is this one here, confidence interval for proportion, and here you'd actually have to work out the 80% value, and so 80% of the 600 is 480, and we're doing that out of 600, and 0.95, and then we get that 0.768 and 0.832. Quality control collects 3 samples and determines a 95% confidence interval each time. Determine the probability that only one of these intervals will not contain the true value 0.8 of the proportion of pink chocolates. So, 2 of them do, and that's what a 95% confidence interval means. You could actually state this as a binomial if you wanted to. You could have y as a binomial with 3 and 0.95. So it's going to be 0.95 squared, then we've got 0.05, and there was 3 of them, and so it will be 3 choose 1, and calculate. So it's 0.135375, or you could have used that and just used your binomial PDF. Using your 95% confidence interval in part C, determine the range in which the expected number of pink chocolates in a sample of 20 boxes would lie. Okay, so our lower end was 0.768, 0.832 was the upper end, and it was based on 600 chocolates. So just times by 600, and so that one is 460.8. This one is 499.2. So I'd say 461 to 499. Quality control counted the number of pink chocolates in 5 samples as shown below. Decide which samples lie outside the 95% confidence interval, if any, and justify. So we're looking for anything outside the range specified above, which would be that one there and that one there. And justify is just say, well, it's outside of that range.